Center for Security and Counterterrorism. We're grateful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
Let's now go to senior statesman, also a former military officer, medical doctor, and a father to many, many, many. Dr. Nyaho-Tamakloe. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
And how are you doing this morning?
I'm fine. I hope you are good.
I am greater than Accra, sir. This a former IGP, Dr. Akufu Dampare. What were your impressions about him and how he led the police service?
Well, as another person in the society, I think he brought in quite a number of changes into the police service, particularly administrative changes, and to pass by the police headquarters, you see quite a number of changes that have been brought. I have not been inside for some time. I used to go there a lot some years back. But I think that alone is not what is used to pick a leader. What quite a number of people do not probably know is that we have command structure in both the police and the military.
Right.
And at a certain level in the police service, I believe it must be either assistant commissioner or chief superintendent. You are looked by the leadership as someone with or without potential who can become head of the whole institution in the future. Now, this, if eventually you have been picked as an IGP or a CDS, the political leadership, and for that matter, the head of government or the president has every right to select one particular individual that will head that institution. And I believe based on that, the former IGP, Dr. Dampare, was picked by former President Akufu. Now, I would like to cite a few examples.
Yes, sir.
And that will help us a lot because these are things that have happened in the past, and most of the young people might probably learn a lot from it. Now, there's something we call rapid promotion in the armed forces.
Right.
It has happened before. In fact, when the British left, there was a huge gap in the officer corps. So Nkrumah had quickly to get young men to be trained. Some were sent to Sanhead, some were trained here, even including Nigerians, in order to fill the various positions that have been vacated by the British officers. Now, when you have a situation where a particular position is free, in the armed forces, when you get to the rank of a major, they keep watching your behavior, how you do things. There are a lot of things that military intelligence will look at.
Right. That's because you were a senior officer now as a major.
Yes, because you can now, from the rank of a major, you can be picked to command a battalion.
Right.
A battalion is always commanded by a lieutenant colonel.
That's right.
Now, if they find it to be somebody who is wretched, somebody who is not efficient, no integrity, a person without culture of resignation, which to me is very important, believe me, you can stay in your rank till you leave the service. Of course, there must be efficiency also. Efficiency, loyalty. These are things they look at right from the military academy. Now, when you get to the level of a major, then you yourself must know exactly how you carry yourself. in the military. Because from the rank of a lieutenant colonel, where maybe you might be given, once again, you must be trusted by the leadership before you are given the command of a battalion. Because a battalion alone can create a lot of confusion or can help in building the nation. Now, I'll give you a very cardinal example. You might have heard of General Kutu Achampo.
That's right, Ignatius Kutu
Who
Achampo.
was the head of state in the early 70s.
That's right.
Now, after the removal of Osajefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah by the military and the police, it was a joint military police operation. Now, if you watch carefully, most of you don't know, A.W.K. Harley,
that's our IGP.
who IGP, thank you. He was not just an IGP. He was a person in the white stream as an intelligence officer. What we now call BNI, he's an expert in it. By then, the position was called Special Branch. Now, he knew in and out of the police. So, when Nkrumah made him the IG, Nkrumah trusted him. Listen to me very carefully. Nkrumah trusted him. Nkrumah found him to be very loyal. Nkrumah found him to be a man with integrity. Nkrumah found him also as somebody who had the culture and can act on principle. I'm sure he saw all these things. Now, another person, A.K. Deku. A.K. Deku was head of CID. And to get to that level at that time, you must be good. A.K. Deku was Nkrumah's personal aide. When Nkrumah is traveling abroad, always A.K. Deku accompanies him.
Right.
For some time until, for that particular, the operation, Nkrumah didn't go with him. In fact, Nkrumah at a certain stage now chose another officer. When he was going to Hanoi, he went with another officer. Now, these two at least I can set an example. About Kotoka, his position as a brigade commander with Major Akwesi Afrifa as a brigade major. Brigade major is a very powerful person. And he's always close to the commander. Now, so when you get to these levels, as a head of state, you must be careful who you put where. Now, in the case of Achampo, mind you, after the NLC was coming to their end of service, the leader then was Lieutenant General Akwesi Amankwa Afrifa.
That's right.
Now, Akwesi Amankwa Afrifa, from what I was told, and I believe strongly because this was told to me by a former Lieutenant General, who was once head of military intelligence. Now, he said he went out playing tennis when he had a call from the then elected Prime Minister. And that was Professor Buzia.
Right.
No. That the then elected Prime Minister would like to see him immediately. So in his tennis outfit, he went straight to the Odoko residence of the elected Prime Minister. When he got in there, he was told the Prime Minister had a visit. So he was given another place to sit at. He sat there. After a while, who came out? The Prime Minister and General Africa. Listen to me very carefully. Now, he got up, paid compliments to the General, because he was his senior, and then he was ushered into the office of the Prime Minister to meet the Prime Minister. Before he could even say anything, the Prime Minister said, "Oh, what really I invited you to discuss with, I think a lot has been given to me by the general. However, you being the head of the military intelligence, I would still like to have a chat with you." So the first question he asked him, "Can you tell me something about Lieutenant Colonel I.K. Achempo?" And then he narrated what he means. Because in the military, if you are an officer, right, from the rank of lieutenant, second lieutenant, you will be in the eye of the military intelligence. Unless now they don't do it, they will know anything that you do. Now, after having briefed the Prime Minister, he realized that the Prime Minister's intention was to give I.K. Achempo a higher command. Now, where he is as a battalion commander, the next command you can give to him is a brigade commander. And a brigade commander has enormous powers. You know, that was in the coup era. To make somebody a brigade commander, you have left the whole country in his hands. That I'm talking about the security of the country.
Right.
Now, so when he made mention, when he asked the Prime Minister about the position in mind, the Prime Minister said they intend giving a higher position. Then the general said, "Sir, I don't think he's up to the task yet." The general told him that. He thanked the general, and the general left. Now, listen carefully. Can you believe, not quite long after that, Afrifa handed over to Professor Buzia. Buzia was now in charge. Then, within, I think, 2 years, Achempo, having been made a substantive one brigade commander, moved troops to remove Buzia from power. The irony of the whole thing is that when Achempo, when Afrifa went to see the executive, what they call it, the leader then that Professor Buzia, but then we had a president, but he was just a ceremonial president. When he went to see the Prime Minister at that time, Achempo was asked Afrifa was asked the same question by Professor Buzia, and Afrifa endorsed Achempo as the possible commander of a brigade.
I see.
But Achempo removed him. That because of they couldn't even believe it. And I have said in one of my books that Achempo is so street smart. You can't beat him in that. J.H. Mensah confirmed that to me when we were met in Osherford prisons. J.H. Mensah told me the entire story. And he said when the coup was being announced, he quickly got his phone. By then there was what we call Motorola.
That's right. Now called Mota.
Yeah, that's right. He used the Motorola to get in touch with Achempo. And Achempo assured him that he is under control. He never said he was part of the coup. That he didn't say that he is in charge. At the initial, when they noticed that there have been movement of troops from Birmingham to the broadcasting house, J.H. Mensah quickly got in touch with him. And he assured them, he was assuring the then government that they should be calm, But he was advising all of them rather to report at the castle for protection. Why is it? It sanitizes the situation. And believe me, when they came there, they marched all of them to Oshapot. So, picking a head of an institution, a particular institution into this institution, there are quite a number of things that I think a leader will have to look at. Loyalty is one. Efficiency.
Right.
I'm talking about professional efficiency.
Right.
Integrity. And a person who has the culture of resignation.
Which one? Which of these four elements that you mentioned, and I've listened closely, were missing in IGP Dampare's portfolio? Loyalty, professional competence, integrity, and all of. Which one was missing?
I think he lacked culture of resignation.
Why should he have resigned?
No, because look, there have been situations, there have been instances. Unless he didn't advise government, that I don't know. But there have been instances where reports have been made by the police, investigations have been made by the police, given to government, and government didn't do anything about it. There have been instances where about 8 people lost lives. You follow me? During election, nothing was done. Now, if I were him, I happen to be his shoes, I would take a pen and paper and resign. That is what we lack in this country. And I keep on saying the only person who did that, as far as I know, I was even then a student, was and is still alive. I thank God that he's still alive. It's Mr. K.G. Osaibonso.
Right.
Nobody in this country, as far as I know, has been able to do that. And he did that when he was even in government, in the military government. Can you believe it? So when you have been made a leader, you have been made an IG, you have even been made, a CDS. And there are certain fundamental things that the services you are heading and is being violated by civilian power, and for that matter, the political class. If you disagree with them, you have to be strong enough, take your pen and resign. And believe me, I'm telling you, the moment we get that into our system, things will work. A lot of people don't know that thing, and what do you call him? President Trump came recently.
Right.
He has dismissed the Joint Chief of Staff of the United States Armed Forces. The Joint Chief of Staff is like the CDS here.
Right.
You follow me?
I follow.
And the person is dismissed was a black. We have had only 2 black really coming to that level in American history. Colin Powell and this particular man. Now, this man, he was known as one of their best jet fighters. But Trump removed him and he left. You see,
Dr. Dampare should have left, Doc. Is that what you're saying?
Say it again.
Dr. Dampare should have left, should have resigned on his own.
He should have resigned. Believe me, he would have been a hero by now.
Now, this Dr. Dampare's sack, you look at the landscape of our security sector, particularly for the interior security, police, immigration, prisons, fire service. And then you look at the top 3 at the immigration, prisons, and fire service. They're all retirees who are still at post, pledging allegiance and hoping for contract extensions. Should this indication from the presidency to the police service sweep across all these other 3 so that there's a refreshment of a sort?
No, with Dampare's case, I wouldn't say he was sacked. He has been retired. But if he had been sacked, he would have lost everything. You follow me?
Yes, sir.
He has been retired. But people will argue, or probably will argue that he was prematurely retired because the retirement age really is 60. But there are others who probably didn't even get to 60 and leave the service. Before I answer your question, let me get you back to the same police because of the question you asked. During the era, I think, of President Atamils, there was a promotion in the police service where certain people who were junior to certain officers were jumped over them. They were jumped over the senior officers. They were 4 in number. Listen to me carefully. I was not happy about it. I spoke with one of them, and I encouraged him that he should go to court. He was afraid. A police officer. But later he became an IGP. So what I did was, I said, no, let me carry this case out. I decided to carry this case out by going to court. So I went to see my lawyer at that time. And the lawyer is nobody else than Atachia. You can ask him. The moment Atachia saw me, he was so excited. They just seen him. What brought you here? I said, nothing. This is my problem. And then the advice he gave me was that all he needs is a CV of these officers.
See,
Sorry,
I'll have you hold on briefly. Professor Kwesi is joining us on the other phone line. I want to quickly pick his thoughts and then I'll come back to you. Dr. Nyaho-Tamakloe.
Yes, I'm around.
I come to you now. I apologize, I had to hold you on briefly, but I come to you now. I'm sure you heard the good prof and what he had to say, because he had triggered the process together with Imani's Kofi Bentel on such matters. I want to quickly pick your thoughts on the things you heard Prof say and where you stand.
With the opposition on going to court, it said it's almost 1 year now.
That's right.
So honestly, I don't think.
This week, earlier this week, there was a resurrection of the matter. I think it was an injunction or so, restraining anybody from going ahead to sack any of these, top brass from. So there was an injunction this week, so a resurrected matter, if you will. And now he says that, well, his president has the right to do it anyway, even though there's a resurrected matter. That's what I'm asking you.
Yeah, I would have suggested, or I would have been happier if they have probably sent their concern to the newly constituted Constitutional Review Committee. You follow me? Because right. The point they have raised, they are very important points. That what we have in our Constitution now does not in any way stop the head of state from picking its own service commanders. And particularly the Chief of Defense Staff and the IGP. So I would have suggested if probably there have been a situation where they are not comfortable or they suspect something might probably come in and they want an injunction, I would have expected them to seek their concerns to the Constitutional Review Committee. And I'm sure, looking at them and their caliber, definitely it will be listened to. That's all that I will say.
I see. But Doc, the myriad of jubilation among the police personnel that Dr. Dampare is gone is worrying to a lot of people, particularly because they think that a service like the police service must be apolitical and must not be pandering to a certain individual to be leading them. Do you find that worrying too, that an IGP is gone and people are recording videos of themselves jubilating?
To be frank with you, I would not take such officers serious at all. Look, we have had in this country things of this nature. When Nkrumah was removed, I was in the country. But at least I saw the clips. And not quite long ago, Mahama had all the insults you can think of on these same people. Not quite long ago, a police, or whether they can claim they were not responsible, that I can't tell. But what happened in Wogon constituency prison, where a commission of inquiry was set up, a report and recommendations were made. What have we heard about it? Nothing. So, if there's a group of police people now jubilating, I will not take them serious at all. I will not. If anything, they are the destructive elements within the system. I don't know any of them. Jubilate about what? You see, these are some of the things that... No, as I was giving you an example, let me add one more example so that people will get to know.
Yes, sir. So we can...
You might have heard of the name Lieutenant General Wood, Nelson Wood.
That's
have
right.
You heard of the name before?
That's right.
Now, yeah, that's why I say the key things a person is looking, a leader is looking for: loyalty, efficiency, integrity, and the culture to say no on principle.
Right.
And we have Lieutenant General Nelson Wood. I know him very well because I was in the armed forces with him. A young officer, right from the level of lieutenant colonel, he started climbing. I think the fastest we have ever seen in the armed forces.
I see.
From lieutenant to colonel. When he was a lieutenant colonel, he was the commander of 48 engineers. Then immediately to full colonel. Within months, brigadier general. Within another month, major general. Then he became lieutenant general. The youngest then to occupy that position, Nelson Wood. I think his name has been
there's a street
used
named
on one
after
of the
him.
streets in Accra. That's right.
In fact,
a
even
great officer.
inside Belma Camp, there's a street named after him.
That's right. A great officer. You see him, you respect him. Unfortunately, he died in office. A great officer. Because all the points I have raised, he called them loyalty, efficiency, integrity, and culture of resignation.
Right.
A man who can act on principle. These are the type of leaders we want. And this cuts across, not only in the armed forces or in the police service, but even within the political class. And if the political class fails to do that, then we have to be careful.
I thank you very much indeed. Now, before you go quickly, in 30 seconds, we have a new interior minister. Internal security is very, very important. How should he be conducting himself in 30 seconds so we can go, sir?
You see, how should he conduct himself?
Yes.
As what do you call it?
Interior Minister.
Interior Minister.
Yes, sir.
What I would suggest to him, first and foremost, they should leave the police service or the security services to select or look for their own recruits. That so-called protocol program that they have should be cancelled immediately. And these are some of the things that have made some of us uncomfortable with the leadership of the security services. This is one thing IGP should have stamped, IGP Dampare should have stood up against. This is one thing the CDS should have stood up against. That the military will have our own way of getting people into the armed forces. But where you have a political list that invites people into the armed forces, the results definitely are seen within a short time. That's the advice I'll give him.
Thank you very much, senior statesman, medical doctor and soldier, Dr. Nyaho-Tamakloe. Always a pleasure to spend the mornings with you.
It's a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much, sir.